Hey, I'd like to welcome you to another episode of the Mission Matters Money Podcast, your source for all things money. My name is Adam Torres. You can follow me on Instagram at AskAdamTorres to keep up with my book releases, book tour schedule, signings, all that other good stuff. Always love to connect with you there. And as always, if you'd like to apply to become a co-author of one of my upcoming books, just head on over to the website, missionmatters.com, and click on Become an Author to apply. All right, so today I have Zach Larson on the line, and he's founding partner and a wealth advisor over at Intention Financial Partners. Zach, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, Adam. It's good to be with you, and I'm excited to talk with you about money today.
Oh, man, I'm excited, too, and I'm excited to get into today's topic. So planning intentionally and living generously. I mean, I don't think it's something that we always talk enough about in the media, so I'm excited to get into this with you. But before we do that, let's talk a little bit more about what you're doing over at Intention Financial Partners. Tell us a little bit more about the company, please.
What we have learned through the years, Adam, is that there rarely is enough money to go around for people when it comes to how the world measures it. But we've also experienced a lot of great situations and conversations with people who have figured out how to have contentment with their money, how to maximize what they do have and have a great impact with it. And so that's what we're doing, is helping people explore their money situation and figuring out how to prioritize and strategize and maximize what they do have.
What are, a lot of people listening, a lot of business owners, entrepreneurs, executives, families, of course, listening. What are typically the right types of clients, whether it's niche or just or demographic, that typically make sense for Intention Financial Partners, just so that the right people follow up with you after listening to this?
I think, Adam, it's people that are looking to make a difference with their money, a difference for themselves, for their family, for people they care about, for organizations they care about. A lot of financial companies try to place a net worth or an income around what they do. Our vision is really about helping thousands of people, and we've built out a team of advisors and support professionals to do that. And so if people are interested in taking control of their money and living more intentionally and generously with it, they're the right fit for us.
I think that's also a great transition to today's topic. So planning intentionally and living generously. I mean, where do you want to start with that one?
Well, I guess just to start with how a lot of people come in to see us initially, and they're saying, we've got all this stuff out there and we don't necessarily know what it is. And just in this recent few weeks, I've spent a lot more time in my home office. And my wife was working through an Excel spreadsheet and didn't realize some of the tricks in there. And it made me realize that most people could care less about an Excel spreadsheet. They don't want to add up what they have or review all their statements. So a big part of what we do is help people organize and understand what they have. That's the first step to planning intentionally. And then the second is talking about priorities. And we use that word a lot instead of goals. I'm a goal-minded, goal-oriented person. I'm guessing you are too. And probably a lot of people listening in are. But, at the same time, it's hard to establish goals for some people. And so we know that everybody has a priority. They say what's important to them. And that's what we try to uncover.
Where do you think, or where do you find, and by the way, I know this is going to vary from client to client, from situation, from background, all those other things. I know it varies, but where do you find a lot? I know themes also arise over time. What do you find are some of the common reasons that people kind of fail in that area that you found in your experience?
Most people, when it comes to their money, live, I refer to it accidentally. Their priorities show up day to day. So I'm going to go use my money to do this, or I'm going to go have this experience because it's important to me now. And they're not lining up their long-term, their priorities for their future self with their current self. So we're going to try to help people identify both of those. Unfortunately, we've worked with people who laid out the best plans, and those plans don't come to fruition because an illness happens or life changes or they lose a loved one. So we know we can't in any way control what the future is going to bring. Mm-hmm. But if we just spend our time living for today, then you create this accidental financial situation. And we're going to try to help people be more purposeful with that.
Let's delve a little bit further into the concept of living generously and what that means. So where do you want to start with that one?
Well, I know you're out in the California area, and so there's probably people listening there that have have boats, and I've come across this observation through working with clients that have them or just getting to be in cool places where there's a lot of boats. And what I've realized is that there is always a bigger boat. And what do I mean by that? Let's say a person has worked through to have their dream purchased, and they find this boat of their dreams. They buy it, and they pull into the harbor, and there it is, someone else with a bigger boat. And that relates directly back to living generously, because in this world, there's never enough if we measure against someone else. But if we look the other direction, there are always people who have less or their situation is worse. And I have experienced personally and professionally that generosity is the antidote to that. It's a way of thinking about more than ourselves, about living bigger than ourselves and helping others, whether it's money, time, whether it's using our skills to impact others' lives. When people live generously, then it helps create a balance between never enough and more than enough.
Man, that's awesome. I love it. And I think the whole thought process behind living generously that I've found the most gratifying is just quality of life. I mean, sure, the both of this or that, whatever, but like just quality of life and, how you feel at the end of the day, I think is directly related to that also versus just, what you have, how much money's in the bank and other things like that. Sure, there's a certain amount for security and for wanting to do things and like all this stuff, and everybody has their different levels. So for some people, what's $1 amount might make them rich. For another person, that same dollar amount might make them poor in their own eyes, right? But that being said, whatever your, thought process is, the whole idea is how can you still give back and how can you still make a difference outside of just your immediate sphere? And I think that's a really interesting thing to bring into just planning overall.
That's totally it. My wife and I have conversations with our kids about that at home. We have 4 boys ranging from ages 9 to 14, and so we're challenging them to get in a mode of thinking that's bigger than themselves, not only with money but time. And then we see that come back with our clients too. And it's not always about giving to someone else. In a weird way, sometimes it's about giving ourselves permission to use money to create an experience. We have a lot of clients that truly have more than enough dollars to do what they need in their daily life, yet they don't have the confidence or the plan to take their family on a trip, to give more to a place that they care about because they worry if they have enough. And so that's how we circle back into planning intentionally that says, let's, through a very succinct, clear process, focus on giving people confidence and permission that they do have enough to accomplish the things that they want.
That's awesome. So, Zach, I could talk to you about this all day long, but we're about out of time. So that being said, if somebody's listening to this and they want to follow up and learn more about you and your practice, what's the best way for them to do that?
Yeah, check out our website, intention.com. It's spelled INTENTGEN.com, and it comes from the words that we stress and focus on. Live intentionally, live generously. Through there, they can see videos of what a true financial partnership might look like to work with a professional who cares about them. And we have a second opinion process. There's no cost, no obligation to it, to help them look at the fourth part of what we do. So I mentioned organize, prioritize, strategize. The fourth part is maximize. And maximize can obviously mean more, but sometimes it means minimizing fees, risk, taxes, all those parts that people don't love, but it's an important part of the plan. And so through the website, they can learn a little bit about that, ask us for a second opinion, and we'd be happy to help them move forward on this journey of intentionality and generosity.
Man, that's awesome. Well, hey, Zach, it's been a great having you on the show today. Appreciate you coming on and telling us more about your views on planning intentionally and living generously. So great stuff there. And to the audience, as always, thank you for tuning in. Hope you got a lot of value out of this. If you did, don't forget to subscribe to the podcast, leave me a review on the Apple iTunes Store. If you're watching this on our YouTube channel, Mission Matters Money, definitely give us a subscribe there, but also leave us some comments in the video. Love to know what you're working on and what kind of things you have going on in your neck of the world. And Zach, thanks again for coming on the show.